So we have three stages of the stress response. And the first stage is alarm. So danger is perceived, and your body prepares to either fight the danger or run from the danger. And this is that first stage. So in this stage, your pupils will dilate. Heart rate and blood pressure increase. Like, let's say for first period of health last Friday, or a couple Fridays ago, you walked in and they said, okay, get ready for the test. And everyone was like, pupils dilated, heart rate increased because alarm. Mr. Chambers didn't tell us about this test. Your muscles probably tightened up, and you all of a sudden release some sugar and fat into your bloodstream for immediate energy. You also increase blood flow to your muscles and to your brain to start thinking quickly on your feet, like, oh God, did he tell us? I can't remember, did he tell us? And also your muscles, so that if anyone wanted to just run out of the classroom and avoid it altogether, they could have. Also, you're going to get adrenal glands that release adrenaline into your system. And what this will cause is to give you almost not superhuman strength and speed, but it'll give you stamina and speed and abilities that you would not have otherwise. Adrenaline is a very powerful tool. The second part of the stress response is resistance. So your body starts to adapt to the reaction that you had in the alarm stage. And so you can perform at a very high level at this point because, again, adrenaline's kicked in, you're ready to go, that blood flow's gotten your muscles and your brain, you're thinking very, very clearly at this point. So this is where you're either going to fight or you're flying or you're fleeing. So this is the point where your body's prepared you to either take on whatever it is or to run away from it. And then the third stage of the stress response, we call it fatigue. And this is where your mind and body just become exhausted. Because, number one, your ability to manage any other stressors in your life has dramatically decreased at this point. Once you come down from the high of the adrenaline and the sugar you release in your blood, you crash. And if you've ever, crashed from high on like caffeine or chocolate or sugar, you know that you become really, really exhausted. So all of your activity levels decrease. You physically become exhausted because your muscles are so tired from the adrenaline that was injected into them and also the large amounts of sugar that they had to turn into energy. Your brain becomes extremely fatigued because, again, pretty much the same reason. Your brain is kind of like a muscle. And then pathologically you become fatigued because your immune system has to work to get rid of the adrenaline and some of the side effects of what that causes. And so now you're really less able to fight diseases. You don't think as well anymore, and you can't physically perform at a level that you did before.
So how does our body respond to stress? Well, a physiologist by the name of HUMSS studied this, and he discovered that there were in fact three distinct phases to the stress response. There's the alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. So in stage one of the stress response, we have the alarm stage. And in this stage, we're exposed to some kind of stress or stressor, and our body responds two ways. First, the sympathetic nervous system releases catecholamines, and secondly, the adrenal glands of the HPA axis releases cortisol. Now, and this is our body's preparation to deal with the stress. But long-term exposure to cortisol compromises our immune function, as we saw with poor Susan. So our bodies can't handle being in the alarm stage too long. We either die or we cope. And if we cope, we enter stage two, called resistance. And in resistance, cortisol is still being released throughout our bodies, and this cortisol helps activate us, arouses us, and maintains a response. Now, long-term arousal, though, is not good for our bodies, as we'll see here more in a minute. So in the third and final stage, we have exhaustion. And in the exhaustion stage, what's going on is our body's been trying to fight this threat for such a long time that we become depleted of its resources. And we have no ability to fight off illness because our immune system is compromised. In fact, I'm sure many of you have gotten sick during finals. That's due to exhaustion and lowered immune response.